covering the High Plains with news, weather, and information. From TV 23 Studios in Sublet, this is High Plains Today.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this special edition of High Plains Today. We're going to talk education today, and I've got two ladies that I've known for a while. They're from USD 480 in Liberal, and we're going to talk about the Kansas Can School Redesign Project. Ashley Kappelmann, she is the principal at Liberal High School. Shawna Evans, she is the principal at Meadowlark Elementary, right?
That's right.
Liberal America. All right, so now, this Kansas Can School Redesign Project. What's this all about? I know it has something to do with astronauts. Now help me.
All right. Well, the state of Kansas, when Dr. Watson was coming into office, he and Brad Newenswander, the deputy commissioner, went and did a tour of Kansas and asked Kansas businesses and teachers and administrators, what does a 24-year-old successful Kansan look like? And what can we do as an education system to help make them a successful Kansan? And it was overwhelming that the businesses and educators think that students need other skills besides just academic and content knowledge. And so, go ahead.
No, so was this part of Commissioner Watson when he first took over, his listening tour that he went all over the state?
Yes.
Okay.
This is as a result of.
All right, so this is making sense now. All right, go ahead.
So this Kansans Can, the vision that the State Board of Education put out, is not only giving our students, again, academic knowledge, but also cognitive preparation, social emotional skills, technical and employability skills. And then this project is about charging some schools to rethink what they're doing and see how they can then meet this vision in educating their students and preparing their students to be successful Kansans.
So this has gone well beyond than, as they used to say back in my day, when the 3 R's, you got your reading, writing, arithmetic stuff. This is way past that, right?
Absolutely.
It is.
Okay, so how'd you guys hear about this with the state, Ashley?
Well, they put out on a Twitter one day. I was following my feed, and they put out that they, as in the State Department of Education, they were going to be having schools apply to be one of 7 school districts who could be part of this initial project for the Mercury. They call it Mercury 7. They liken this project to the initial space launch of the Mercury 7, and so that's kind of where that came from. And then the schools or districts, which had to include 1 elementary and 1 secondary, so it could have been a middle or a high school, then they would each be named one of those 7 astronauts. And we, of course, are Alan Shepard, is our name.
So you're reading this on Twitter and you go, we got to do this.
Yes.
Is that what you actually said?
Our kids need this. This is something that our kids, they deserve this, and we need to do this. It's an opportunity to jump on board first. It's an opportunity to try some things out and have a real say and a real impact on what happens. And so then I visited with Shawna.
I was going to say, Shawna, how'd you get drug into this?
Ashley said, let's do this together.
And you said, okay. I think it was more, before I went on the air, she said, it's more like, take my hand, let's jump off this bridge. But it hasn't been that bad, has it?
It hasn't. We have learned so much in a short amount of time. It's exciting.
Okay, so, but with this, and we're going to get into more of the nuts and bolts of this as we go, but isn't it, I mean, you guys just aren't thrown out there on your own in this deal, right?
No.
I mean, you have some people from the State Department of Education that are kind of helping lead you through this, right?
Right. They have an elementary redesign specialist, and we have a secondary redesign specialist that come out every couple of weeks and meet with us.
So they're out. So those people are going to get to know the way to Liberal really well, aren't they? From
Yes.
Topeka.
Yes.
Okay, so you have a specialist that works with you, and you have one that works with you.
Yes.
And then you two get together and butt heads and decide who's going to do what, or how's that work?
It looks very different at both levels. So,
Well, I'd say, I mean, you got kindergartners to 5th grade.
That's right.
Yes.
The freshmen, you got the bigger kids.
Right. So our plans look different, but we definitely bounce ideas off of each other.
As to, okay, so does this have anything to do with curriculum or anything like that also?
Everything.
Everything.
There's not a thing we do currently that we aren't taking apart and examining little by little to say, is this what's best, not for just the general population of our students, but for every single student in our building? Is this the best we can do to make sure that every kid has a personalized education and has everything that they need to be equipped to be successful?
Okay, so when Dr. Watson was out on his listening tour, wasn't this kind of like, Kansas and talking with Sally Kappelmann and Dr. Watson both, you hear about, not every child or every kid is going to go to a 4-year college.
Right.
But, going to getting some kind of a certificate or going to a 2-year school or a VOTEC school or something like that, I mean, that is where we want to get kids because you still need welders and you still need people to do other things, right?
Yes.
So that's kind of what you guys are working towards?
Yes.
And at our level, it's helping them realize what they want to do, where their passion is, and what they can do to develop that.
Okay, so you're getting them all, you're getting them kind of on an individual
Yes.
plan of learning already?
All of them, yes.
Even starting at kindergarten?
Absolutely.
All right, hold that thought, because I want to know how you do
All
that.
right. Okay.
I can kind of understand how you do it, but I don't know how you're doing it in kindergarten. So stick around. I'll be back with Ashley and Shawna right after this.
You're watching High Plains Today on TV 23 with host Chris Jewell. TV 23's internet service and 4G live streaming provided by United Wireless. Coverage you deserve. Service you expect. United Wireless.
Hi, I'm Chris Jewell, host of High Plains Today, a 30-minute news and information program that airs at noon weekdays right here on TV 23. Hey, do you think you have an idea for something that would make a great segment? Somebody that would make a great interview? What about a community event that needs highlighting? Let us know here at the station. Email us news@kbgltv.com. And welcome back to this special edition of High Plains Today. I'm joined in studio today by Ashley Kappelmann. She is principal at Liberal High School, and Shawna Evans. She is the principal at Meadowlark Elementary. We're talking about the Kansas Can School Redesign Project, or we're just going to start calling it the Mercury 7, right? Because you're one of 7 schools that include Coffeyville, Liberal, McPherson, Olathe, Stockton, Twin Valley, and Wellington. There was, some 30 districts that applied to be part of the Mercury 7 for this deal? All right, before we went to break, we were talking, some of this stuff is getting kids ready for life, basically. And once you get past high school, what are you going to do? And we want to help you do that. Isn't that more? I mean, and that's something new where education is starting to go now. It's just not, all right, we're going to teach you to the test, we're going to give you a diploma, and then we're going to kick you out the door and you're done, right?
Definitely not that.
All right, so now, Shawna, at the elementary level, you're getting these kids in as kindergartners.
Right.
I'm sure, now, this is an individual plan of study. Is that what it's called?
That's what it's called at the
Kind of.
secondary level.
All right. But how do you do that starting with a kid, or even a second grader? I mean, you're looking for holes to fill, right?
We are.
To where they're at in their education?
It's personalized learning, really, is more what we call it at the elementary level. But it's finding what skills they don't have, what skills they do, and filling those gaps in their learning early so we can build those foundations strong. And as they move up, then they're prepared and they're ready.
All right, so you get, let's say you get a second grader, and they come in and they just blow everything in second grade away.
Right.
And they're going, and they're sitting around, and they're getting bored. Are you able in this redesign, can you take that child and move them forward?
Absolutely.
Or you can take a child and move them back, so there's really no...
Right. There's still
Is
the
there a
grade.
grade? Okay,
There are
all
still
right.
grade levels. We don't focus so much on the grade level as the skills that they're missing or that they're ahead of.
So are we going to call this something else eventually? You don't know. You've only been doing this since
I've
September, right?
it's just still
Come on,
early.
you should
Still
know.
early.
You should know.
Personalized learning, that's what we're calling it.
Okay, all right. So, but now, is there a lot of testing involved in this?
It's
Always like there used to be?
No, it's as they're, a lot of it starts maybe on a device of some kind, so they're working in a program, and as a skill they show a skill deficit, the teacher intervenes and then provides that small group instruction.
Okay, because, a few years back, not that long ago though, the big thing was, well, why are we going to have to give more money to education? Because all we're doing is teaching these kids to test. We're not teaching them anything but answers to tests. So how do you argue this by, what is your argument for that, your comeback when people say stuff like that? I mean, as far as we're just teaching them to test and that's it.
The test is simply used as a quick dipstick at this point.
And it's not as involved as it used to be, right?
No.
I mean, there's still a state assessment.
Right.
But it's even shrunk its footprint quite a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh. You both got to be happy with that.
Yes, absolutely.
That was like a week or 2 weeks of hell.
Yeah.
Trying to get everybody
we don't
tested.
have that any longer.
All right, so we get into the secondary level where you're at, Ashley, and is it, I'm guessing once you get students from Shawna and the middle school, that it's a lot easier to work on those individual plans of study, isn't it?
Yes.
You hope.
Right. Yes and no. And eventually I think it'll be even easier yet. I think some of the things to look at are not just their academic course of study. It's also making sure that the students have, I know it seems, it's interesting, but hope. Do they even believe that if they put a plan on paper, this is something that they can accomplish? Do they know what really makes them tick? And then are they aware of their strengths, of things that they can use to make a career out of, and something that they're passionate about and good at, kind of hit the sweet spot. And so eventually when the students are getting to explore all of that and to, again, have a personalized experience, we're hoping that will help identify not only, again, the courses that they should take while they're in high school, but what experiences, what do I need to get? What civic engagement do I need to have in order to help know more about the community that I'll be going into? And so, yes and no. We're used to doing 4-year plans, so that's one aspect of it. So that's not something that's a huge change, but we're doing so much more than that.
Okay, so, but Shawna, now you're going to get kindergarten through 5th grade. You know those kids are going to change their mind every day
Sure,
about
absolutely.
what they want to do or what they want to discover. Not so much at the secondary level, but they're still able to do that if you're a senior in high school, right? Because you're starting with these kids at their freshman year now, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So is this something that's implemented in every grade level, every classroom in your buildings?
It is. At the K-5 level, we're creating the experiences. That's the biggest thing, is so many of our kids don't know what they don't know. They've not had the experiences to know where their passion is, where their interest is. And so we're trying to build those into our day for the students.
Okay.
As they're learning those problem-solving skills and those academic skills.
And the same at the high school level?
Yes, and we recognize that not every kid is going to know exactly what they want to be. In fact, we almost hope not, because there's so many careers out there that we don't know what they're going to be. And so we want them to be prepared. That's the bottom line, is are they prepared to make it some sort of a plan, but then are they also able to adapt and to change and to problem solve when either barriers come along or different opportunities come along? It is much, much more about what am I good at? What can I contribute? What am I passionate about? Some people know immediately that's a certain career. But some people, it's more of you need to study along these lines. That might be some sort of training or something to internship on.
All right. We're going to take one more break. And when we come back, I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. So, but when we come back, we're going to talk more about the implementation and how you two work together to accomplish all this. Stick around. Be back more with Ashley and Shawna right after this. Hi, Chris Jewell, host of High Plains Today, a 30-minute news and information program that airs weekdays at noon right here on TV 23. We talk about news, we talk about sports, we talk about weather, we're even going to talk entertainment. we'll have live guests right here on set with me. So every day at noon, tune in, High Plains Today. We'll see you then.
Weekdays here on TV 23.
And welcome back. I am talking with two educators from USD 480 and Liberal. Shawna Evans, she is the principal at Meadowlark Elementary. Ashley Kappelmann, principal at Liberal High School. We're talking about the Mercury 7 project that you guys are helping redesign education in Kansas. Now, we've talked about you guys, how you're implementing all this and what the program's all about. And this is a whole different direction than, and you guys are one of 7 school districts that is doing this, right?
Right.
Okay, so on a daily basis, now, getting this implemented is, you just started this school year, correct?
Correct.
I mean, they announced this, what, in August? And
Yes.
said, hey, you're in. And you went, oh boy. So on a daily basis, Shawna, what goes on in your building to get this implemented?
Well, a timeline has been established for this project for all Mercury 7 schools, but we are currently in the research piloting stage. And so each teacher in the building has signed up to pilot a component of the plan. And so that's where we're at right now.
Where do these components come from?
It's through their research that they were divided into research teams. And so they have found some things that they feel like, yes, this is going to help with our personalized learning. And so that's what they're piloting right now, are some various programs and things that will help with that.
Okay, so how often during the week do you meet with your staff to see where we're at on that?
Informally often. Formally, we meet once a week for a couple of hours.
Ooh, okay. All right. And so it's just bouncing ideas off everybody and everything else, right?
It is. They have a focus. Each research team has a different focus that they have researched, and that they're, whether it's reading curriculum, math curriculum, how can we get our families more involved? I think Ashley talked about this earlier, but it's various aspects of the project, and they've researched what can we do better? How can we change this?
All right. So now, and then does that play over? You do the same thing basically. You're on the same timeline
Yes.
as Shawna at the high school as she is at Meadowlark.
Yes. Yes.
So you're all broken up into focus groups also.
We did that. We and Jay Scott, our consultant from the state, laughs because they said, do a few. We did over 20 research teams. But what we were in an effort to make sure that every teacher was, and actually not just teachers, classified staff, paras, office staff, everyone was bought in, and both of us, that was the effort. We just did a little bit differently, being a little bit bigger school, and they're called signature moves. And so at the end of this project, there'll be a sign outside of various parts of the building that'll say how someone put their signature on it. And so we had over 20 teams. I think it ended up being 22 because some combined, of various facets. One being lunch, because when you ask a kid what needs to be revisited about how we do things, lunch definitely always comes up.
Shut up! Really?
Oh yeah,
They brought up
shocking.
lunch.
So we've got some really
They bring
cool.
up recess at your place?
No,
Okay. That would be the next thing.
Our Connie Votes, our food service director, or supervisor, she's been on board as well, and looking at various ways to do lunch, different food offerings, extended time possibly. But then we've also looked at things like hope and growth mindset. How are we going to change the culture of our building to be a culture of growth rather than just achievement?
I'll get my
Our
diploma and get out.
schedule. Yeah, how are we going to do problem solving? I mentioned that earlier, how we want kids to be able to really tackle problems and challenges in their way. So lots of different teams. And so we're also looking to do some, starting on some pilots and tests on some of the things that the teams had come up with and proposed.
So you guys are doing basically the same thing, but differently,
Yes.
right?
And that's what we talk about all the time. How are you
I was
doing
going to
this?
say, how often do you two sit down or whatever and get together and say, okay, here's what we found about lunch. And I mean, how often do you guys compare notes? Because you've got to be talking with Ashley to know what she's going to expect going forward, right?
Right. More than anything, we talk about how we're handling the process of talking to the staff and leading them through the research and those kinds of things. And that's probably about weekly. We check in.
What's got to be a big part of it is getting the staff involved, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, like you
And
said.
community.
Okay,
Yes.
so how do you get the community worked in on this deal?
Well, we hosted a breakfast about 2 months ago. Everything's at warp speed right now, and we kind of introduced the plan, kind of talked about what we're talking about now, a little bit of our timeline, some of the things, our vision. We each have had to establish a vision for our project, for our individual buildings, and then talk to them about, one, we'd love your ideas. If there's things that you need in your business that we're not putting out as far as students and things that they're able to do, we need to know that. Or if you want to help in any way and there's ways we haven't come up with, tell us. And then we've got other things that we're looking to do in the future to continue to communicate where we are in the process.
Okay, so I can understand that at the secondary level, at the high school. How does that play into the elementary?
It's been incredible, the response that we've received. The Coalition for Families, for instance, they have heard our plan and they say, we think we can help you out. So they're coming tomorrow to meet with our research teams and say, here's what we have available. It includes some monies as well as some ideas.
Always good.
And human resources to come in and help us with some various projects we're looking at.
All right, so this is the Mercury 7 project, and these two ladies are one of 7 districts in the state of Kansas that are helping to redesign education. And it's going great guns, people. All right, you two, thanks for coming by today.
Thank you
Keep
for
me
having
updated.
us.
All right, so this spring, when you get a little farther along, I want you to come back and see me when you're a little less warp speed and tell me how it's going, all right? Shawna, Ashley, thanks for coming by today.
Thank you.
And thanks for joining us on this special edition of High Plains Today. See you next time.
Keep up to date with the latest information from TV 23 on our Facebook page, KDGL TV.
Something I feel when I'm right here, something that tells me that I'm home. People are people around here, that's how it is, it's so clear.